PKN 317. Here we go.
The Boys.
Yeah.
You guys have been watching that? Kyle, you seemed a little excited.
I caught up. I guess I'm 4 episodes deep now. I watched them all in like one day. I like it. I like season 2. Season 2 is going just fine. I heard that it's getting critically panned. A lot of the critics do not like it, but that it's wildly popular with the fans. So
what's the critique of the critics?
I didn't even bother delving into it, but I just read this article where one of the creators, one of the creators of the show was like, it's really hard when the fans love your show, but the critics hate it. And I'm thinking like, it's better than the opposite.
Yeah.
Better than the opposite. Like there's been plenty of shows that like critics love it, but nobody wants to watch it. And then you're out of a job in 9 months. Like this is the scenario you'd like. It's good. It's so fucking dark. I love the racism that with this new character, the Liberty or whatever her name is, who's now like.
So the clue is that she used to be Liberty, and her current name is Stormfront.
Yeah, I love that.
She like the X-Man who Halle Berry.
She's
kind of. Yeah.
I don't know if you. So I know a little bit about the comic book. I think Kyle's seen some of the same videos as I have, but this is not a spoiler. I got hazed pretty hard for giving away a boys spoiler.
You gave away a huge one. I was sitting here like, oh.
I hear you, but the context was this show doesn't seem to be following the comic book. Here's the thing that happened in the comic book. I have no idea if the show will do it, but I won't say that.
You gave away Bruce Wayne's secret identity.
I have Tourette's. It's not my fault, Kyle. Kyle, I've got Tourette's. I just say shit sometimes. So
Batman's Bruce Wayne.
I'm not going to say it again, but I can write it to you if I like. If you really want to know.
That's okay.
But Stormfront, I don't think this is a spoiler at all. They're already like hinting at it if you pay attention. She's like a super racist Nazi Superman and a dude in the comics. So it appears that aside from the gender change, she's basically the same person in the show. And we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's pretty brave of them to take on racism.
I haven't watched any videos at all, but
hold on. I think Taylor's got it wrong. If you think that this is some anti-Stormfront social, no, she just bursts in a building, hurts all the black people. It's like that's her thing.
She's killing an alien.
Lightning.
Yeah, she has lightning storm powers.
So not only can she like electrocute you to death and like burn you alive if she wants, but she's also got super strength, right? Like she's stronger than any human being ever would be.
That's pretty par for the course. They've all
and she can fly. You know, some of them have lame superpowers, just like X-Men. You know, there'd be one of them that just like, what's your power? I look like a frog. Oh shit!
I remember that guy. I was like, "Oh, and you're not even that strong, and you're not even the best jumper on your team."
Yeah, exactly. There's totally a character in the X-Men who's just
Toad,
ugly.
I think his name is.
Yeah, and no, this wasn't Toad. This was a completely different character. There was a guy who just looked like a frog.
That'll teach me to dip my toe in the comic book world for 1 second. I think his name's Frog. No, totally different idiot, different guy.
Well, anyway, she's killing this Asian guy on a rooftop. And for him to use his powers, he has to like use his hands to sort of like use telekinesis. And she like grabs his wrist and like snaps them 90 degrees. Just, and she's like, I think she calls him a yellow monkey or something like that.
I forgot that.
Like,
you're right though.
Like
the Storm Woman.
Yeah, she calls him like she's like dirty yellow monkey, and like fucking like stomps him out like and kills him brutally in front of his sister. And then they like have a flashback to her 70 years ago when she's wearing like this sort of like Captain America type uniform with a hood. And she like stops a black guy who's driving his car. And she, I don't remember what she was accusing him of doing, stealing the car maybe, or being part of a robbery that happened. He's like, no, it's not me. You can check. And she's like, I don't want to hear your lies, jigaboo. And just like beats him to death. With like 2 punches, like hits him so hard in the face with 1 punch that his face turns to pulp.
Yeah, 70 years ago, that wasn't even a bad word.
No, I don't think it is anymore.
I think actually full circle.
We've transcended.
70 years ago, it was a bad word.
Anyway, she's super racist. She's basically Superman, but instead of laser vision, she has
storms,
lightning fingers. Yeah, I haven't seen her create any wind or rain, but she has lightning fingers, that much for sure.
Yeah.
See, I've always thought about that when I would see a storm. I'm probably misremembering that X-Men movie, but I remember she like was flying by the Statue of Liberty and like summoning storms, and that was pretty cool. I think she killed the frog guy in that scene. And but I always thought, like, what if you're inside? You're gonna destroy every building by trying to attack someone with lightning when you're inside.
You know,
you're kind of limited to wind inside.
Yeah, she's got a niche, you know, where she's good, just like Aquaman, right? You know, like
I'd much rather have the storm power. That's a pretty cool one.
We're having a fight in Kansas, and Aquaman is just like, eh.
I tried to look up Aquaman's powers under the prejudice that he was actually far more powerful than people gave him credit for. And he's
nay.
No, he's not good. He's not good. I tried to make him good. I mean, he's pretty strong.
He's like listed like member of the 1,000-pound club at Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fuck. I don't know where I got the idea that he was better than he is, but he's not.
Superman's over there like, I can destroy a moon.
Get out of here, Superman. No one wants to hear it.
There's an Aquaman-like character in The Boys. His name is the Deep. And he was a member of the Seven. The Seven was like the best. They're the highest club of superpowers. That's the one that you aspire to be in. It's the major leagues of this.
They're like the high.
Yeah, it's the Justice League of
one of his lines was, "Who am I kidding? I never belonged in the Seven. I was a diversity hire."
Yeah,
he was. Everybody else was on land. And
speaking of diversity hires, there's a part where they literally try. So Homelander is the Superman of this universe. And but he's part of like a corporate structure, right? Like you know, in the Justice League, it's just the heroes. There's no corporation, but in this, there's absolutely a corporation. And so there's this lady who is sort of taken over this position of power, where technically speaking, she's supposed to delegate to the Seven and like handle team hires and that sort of thing. And she's telling Homelander, she's like, I think I've got our new member. You want to go check him out? He's in the gym. And he's like, oh, absolutely. And they go to the gym, and there's a blind guy, and he's doing like all kinds of acrobatics, and he's throwing spears at these dummies and flicking like throwing knives into dummies and stuff.
Daredevil.
Like a super daredevil. He's incredibly talented, and Homelander's just like, wow, I'm really impressed. This amazing stuff.
The guy,
amazing stuff.
Before that, the guy is like, "Oh, Homelander, it's an honor to meet you." And he's like, "You can tell it's me? Like you can see?" No, because he can't see. Then he acted like Kyle was saying, super impressed with this superpower he has.
And Homelander's like, "I just got one question though. What happens if and he goes wham and hits both of his ears like simultaneously, and the guy drops to the ground screaming in pain with blood gushing out of his ears." And he's like, "See, now you're just another useless blind guy."
It was great. Yeah, he super boxed his ears.
So he didn't make the team?
No.
And then he reprimanded the woman who's supposed to be his boss that she needs to go through him for all new hires.
It's like, you don't get to choose who's on the Seven. Are you crazy?
Which is a part about it's Stormfront, right? That's her name?
Yeah.
So she was hired, and they didn't ask Homelander first, and she's not afraid of Homelander at all. Remember the guy that she hurt and called him a yellow monkey?
Yeah.
It's Homelander, right? I have that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he's mine. He wanted the fame and the credit for getting this kill, but Stormfront got there first, and she killed him. And then Homelander goes to reprimand her. "I told you that he was mine." And she's like, "You snooze, you lose, old man." And I love that dynamic. There's no one else on the planet who isn't afraid of Homelander. Nobody. All the other Seven are scared to death. Yes, she's the new Seven hire.
I thought she was the bad guy. Okay.
Oh, no.
She is the bad guy. They're all bad guys.
If you think there's any good superheroes in here, they're bad.
I had it in my head that it was like they're taking on Storm, the Seven versus Storm this season.
I know you got that wrong. You're like, how brave to go after racism. Oh, no. Racist character is one of our heroes. And
so she scooped in where they kicked the Deep off because now he works at like Aqualand in Ohio. Or
the Deep got kicked off, and then 2 people died. So there's been
there
some
was
open
there was
spots
an invisible
lately.
character, and they shoved an explosive, and they killed that guy. And was he also the one where they shoved the explosive up his butthole and blew him up?
Yeah, he was in a box, and he had this skin that made him impervious to like explosions and bullets, and he was really hard to kill. But they were able to put an explosive in his ass and set it off, and he just burst everywhere.
Great.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
In theory, though, he shouldn't have burst everywhere. If his skin was that protective, he should have just blown up on the inside and
he should have like inflated a little, and then all the liquid oozed out of his butthole.
Right?
When you shoot a gun underwater, that
and wasn't there another that died even before him? Yeah, there was. It happened off show because Starbright didn't replace Invisible Dude. She replaced someone else, and I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
But the show could use some nudity. That's my biggest complaint. I don't know why. Like for real, like this is like an ultra violent show that has no problem with being like so dark,
it's pretty
and
edgy,
sinister, and edgy, and like subversive. Subversive is the word. Like Homelander has had this mommy fetish with the woman he killed last season.
That.
So he's making this like disgustingly fat guy named Doppelganger who can, as the name might suggest, turn into anyone he wants. And he's got Doppelganger posing as her in lingerie, like feeding him milk, and he's like sucking on her fingers, like sucking because they had this breast milk fetish. And like the guy, like he's like like losing the form and like turns back into Doppelganger, and Homelander's like he like turns his back on him. He's like, change back right now, change back. And he's like, sorry, it hurts so much, do it. And he immediately turns back into her, and like Homelander acts like nothing's happened, puts his head back in her lap.
Yeah, the breast milk fetish. This is a grown man. I think, does he suck on her boob in the first season? I forget. I think he might.
Breastfeeds, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That suck on her boob could be a lot of things, but he literally breastfeeds in the first season. In the second season, it's somehow yuckier for him to put his 2 fingers in a baby bottle.
Yeah,
and suck it. Like it's somehow that's worse than breastfeeding.
Like the way he licks his finger is so like erotic. Like
yeah.
He like dips his finger in there, and he's just like,
right, and it's a baby bottle,
like twirling his tongue around the fingers, and stuff.
Unscrews the nipple off to get access to it. It's that is so much worse than like some side boob or something that we're barely getting that.
Yeah, there should be nudity. I don't know why there's not nudity.
Maybe
that
the actors don't want it.
You just hire different actors. You know, see, that's where one of the ways where Game of Thrones just nailed it. Like they hired like porn stars for so many like little mini parts that they were just like, who do I have to fuck? They're like, no one. You just got to take your top off. So, I was gonna, no problem.
Bottom's already off. That cool?
Yeah.
And I'm still getting paid. Like, really? This is quite a gig. They just everybody pour into acting. Like, well, just no
Have you seen the YouTube skit? It's not porn. It's HBO.
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, I can't show it because it'll get copyright for sure, but yeah, there's these excited actresses. Mom, I got a new part. I'm so excited. So listen to this. I take off my shirt, and then he starts to jerk off, and he comes on my tits, and her mom is like, wait, what? No, it's HBO. Oh, honey, we're so proud. Congratulations.
Wow, home box office. My daughter getting game on.
Yeah, I'll have to show it to you.
Just 2 scrolls over, and I could be watching Band of Brothers: The Pacific. Wow.
So, but yeah, The Boys is outstanding. I don't think I spoiled anything this episode, and it's not safe. Like I think they're taking they're like risking getting canceled here and there. We'll see how it goes, and I really like they do good stuff this season. So Stormfront is outstanding in that she's not afraid of Homelander. I'm digging that dynamic.
Is she famous? Like, is the actress famous?
No.
Or
none of the actors are famous. Have you ever seen any of these actors before?
No.
Well, Carl Urban, of course.
Which one's he?
The Butcher.
Oh yeah. He's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, he's they had the guy who played Bilbo Baggins in the first season, but he got killed. He was the father of Yui or
the guy who
his
played
fucking name
Gus in Breaking Bad is in it.
Gustav Fring. Yes,
Yeah.
that guy's in there now. He's got a good role. He's a great actor. But
By and large, these actors are all new to us, so you're not watching them thinking, that's whatever, Walter White.
Yeah, I like Carl Urban a lot. He's Dr. McCoy in the Star Trek movies and Judge Dredd and a bunch of other stuff. I like him. I like him as an actor.
Did he gain a lot of body fat between seasons, or am I crazy? Do you see that too?
Maybe he looks a little different.
Homelander?
No, this is
Carl Urban.
He's kind of the Homelander hunter. Does he? I can't gather if he has any superpowers or not.
No, none at all. No, he's just a guy whose wife was raped by a superhero.
He's just a guy with an axe to grind.
Yep.
Yeah, and no fear. and
yeah, his wife is a piece of shit, by the way. Fuck her. I'd abandon that bastard rape baby in a heartbeat.
I don't know. It's not the baby's fault. And she's in a... did you see her when she drove away from the facility?
Oh, yeah.
So, Taylor, for your benefit, she's living in this idyllic sort of suburban neighborhood with the white picket fence and a manicured lawn, and it's seemingly a bunch of neighbors and stuff. And you think that she's just there. And then there's a scene where she drives and there's an aerial view and there's like a military looking gate that goes around it, implying this whole thing is like a fake little setup for the kid's benefit. Like they're trying to raise him in perhaps a controlled, normal environment. Mm-hmm. And that's all we know so far. And,
okay.
But so Kyle's like, oh, she's a piece of shit. And I'm like, I'm not sure what level of control she has under this, right? She got raped by Homelander. Well, Homelander would rape me if he chose to. And now she's raising this kid, but she's in some sort of prison.
She's a piece of shit for not leaving with Butcher. When her husband who has lived his life for the last 10 years to avenge her, killing superheroes as his gig, finally shows up to rescue her. He's like, yeah, I guess you can bring the rape baby too. Let's get out of here. And she's like, no, if I bring the rape baby, they'll be looking for us. And he's like, well, I am the most wanted man in the world already. Let's go. And she's like, no, I'm so sorry. You better run because I'm calling and telling on you right now.
Oh, you're right.
And it's like, fuck you. Fuck you.
He still likes her, so I think that I'm just following his vibe, but you might be right. We'll watch it play out.
Simp.
I don't even know the difference between a simp and a cock. Is that just new cock? I don't know.
No,
the simp doesn't even get to watch.
He doesn't?
No,
I don't even know how this
completely
works.
different kind of scenario. No, a simp is more of a pay pig than anything.
But with a sexual connotation to it, usually. Simping.
Sometimes, usually. It can go
That's
either
how
way,
I
though.
feel.
I'm going to go to the Boomer's Best Friend, Urban Dictionary.
Dictionary. What do black teenagers have to say about
Someone
this?
who does way too much for a person they like. Okay.
Sexually.
All right. No, yeah. For some reason, I thought it was more had a sex. I could look at some more.
I did too, but to be fair, I've never looked it up.
Yeah.
I've been putting it together through Twitter context clues.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to more of the show. I'm glad there's a good show out right now. I think the next thing around the corner for me, as far as the kind of series that we like, the premiere series is The Mandalorian season 2. The trailer for that came out. I don't watch trailers, so I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. I'm sure it's going to be good. They've got so much money that I don't see how it couldn't be good.
I like that that's one of your hard and fast principles that you'll throw an aside in every time. You'll be like, that's going to come out soon. I do not watch trailers.
Yeah,
No.
no.
That's sort of a nice way of saying don't spoil it, Woody, in case you watch it, because I know you watch all that stuff. Don't spoil it for me.
I haven't seen any trailers either. I also try to avoid most trailers, but I will also try not to spoil it for you.
I can see Woody be like, can you believe that it wasn't Yoda all the time? That it was just a little robot that he's been carrying around? And I'm just like...
Oh man, what a terrible
what is the timeline? It's not possibly Yoda, right?
No, it's 100% not Yoda.
Yeah.
It's just a different Yoda, right?
I think where does it fit in the timeline? Do we know? Is it?
Yeah, we've been through this before. I'm a little fuzzy right now because it's been so long since I've watched it. This is after the fall of the Empire, so this is between the first trilogy and the second trilogy, I believe. Excuse me, this is between the original trilogy and the abominations they're making right now.
But so the most recent trilogy was the furthest down the timeline.
No, it's the most recent one is the most recent because you got Luke Skywalker as an old man dying.
Down the timeline. That's the same thing.
Oh, furthest. Well, when you said down the timeline, I was thinking
you were
like,
going
in the
backwards
past.
in the timeline.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So it's between the
This is after Luke
original
defeats Darth
and the most
Vader.
current.
Yeah, this is after Luke has defeated Darth Vader and blown up the Death Star for the second fucking time.
But before the most current trilogy.
Yeah, I believe so. Because it seems to me that the Empire is in shambles in the Mandalorian TV show. They're kind of falling apart, but there's still like remnants there. So I believe I'm correct on that. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, it's been a good show. I thought that Mandalorian got a little formulaic. Like every week seemed to be, today we drop in on an area that needs some help and complete our mission and then move on. And they weren't advancing the overall plot quite as much. If there's an 80-20, Game of Thrones was like 80% about the long game plot and 20% about today's adventures. And Mandalorian is the opposite.
Yeah, there was a couple wasted episodes, I felt. I agree with you. There was a couple episodes where it's like the Bill Burr episode in particular, when it's like, we need to make some money, so we're going to tag along with this group of rapscallions and go rob a place and free a prisoner. And it was just like, how does this advance the main storyline? Is this just a story of the week? Like, you don't have 27 episodes or 22 episodes. This isn't 1999. This is like a 10-episode season or something like that. You don't have time for this shit. If you were going to make shit like this, make it 18 or 20 episodes, and I'll be happy to have an episode of the week.
Yeah.
That's what was great about a show like The X-Files is, 1 week you would have a storyline that's about the overarching plot, the government conspiracy and the aliens and the recovered UFOs and Mulder's sister. And the next week you'd have something about a crocodile man. And you're like, yeah, we got time for Crocodile Man. There's 20 fucking episodes this season. Let's go, Crocodile Man. Those were great. But The Mandalorian isn't like that. You got like 10 or 12 episodes, and I don't have time for Crocodile Man.
And they're pissing time away on a Bill Burr Space Boston cameo, you think?
Space Boston.
People seem to like him in the show. Just the little
he did
review
fine.
but I guess that makes sense.
Fine. See,
I couldn't get into that show.
What was Casey Neistat in just recently? Oh, The Power, the project, the one with the pill that gives you superpowers for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. It didn't look good.
It was
Before
bad.
and after on a rhinoplasty billboard.
Wait, did he have rhinoplasty?
No.
Oh.
No, but that's where he'd look good.
Oh, that'd be his superpower. Yeah, he just played some dirtbag. He's a self-described terrible actor, and he's not far off there. But he didn't make the show worse, so it's fine. He had a small part.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Mandalorian. I don't know what else is around the bend. I'm sure there's some good stuff. There's a few good movies. It seems like the movie industry is ruined. I saw Tenet really bombed by traditional standards, and it's like it's a Christopher Nolan blockbuster that made like $20 million or something like that. It should have made that the first night.
The movies aren't even on my consideration of things to do now, and Hollywood shut down, and now I feel like we're in the period where we're affected by it. Hollywood could shut down, and they still had a bunch of movies in the can. Now they're either leaving them in the can or not making new ones. We'd have had a Marvel or two by now.
Oh,
I mean, James Bond's been sitting on the shelf for months and months and months. It should have came out in the summer.
Honestly, how many of those Marvel movies are going to be stacked up? Because they release one every few months. It feels
that
like
implies
Wonder Woman.
They're filming.
Wonder Woman's probably the next one. It's been pushed like 2 or 3 times now. They're saying Christmas now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
For Wonder Woman 1984 or 87 or whatever it's called.
I feel like Wonder Woman got kid glove treatment. In the spectrum of good DC or good superhero movies, they just lowered the bar for DC. They're like, this one didn't suck, really. It was probably as good as Thor 2. So, you know, that's good for DC.
I thought the first Wonder Woman movie was 2/3 of it was very good. The first 2/3, the last act, it lost me when she starts fighting that
The god, dude.
the god, you know, and he's like, "Oh, you can't beat me. Only a god can beat me." And she's like, "That's my secret. I am a god." And it's like, all right, now it's bad.
Bad.
But I liked all the World War II stuff and her all of her friends, that little cast of characters running around and the blown up city, and I liked the story. I liked all the stuff on the island with all the hot Amazonian chicks, and her mother was Clea from House of Cards.
They had some athletic Amazons, which I really
yeah.
liked. I think this is a pet peeve that bothers me more than most, but if they take a model and put her in an action scene, she can't throw a spear. She doesn't even run like an athlete. Like just the way, if you took a model and asked her to like step up onto a chair, it looks awkward and weird. Like it's fucking wrong. It's not. I'm super keyed into the way that athletes move, and too often hot chicks, they've just obviously never done anything physical in their life. In Wonder Woman, they hired athletic women, and it was a good call.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, but not great. I agree with you. They have a lower bar than Marvel
Their
does.
thing was kind of being edgier, right? Like with the Joker and the Batman movies being a little more intense.
Well, that's a different. That's the last generation. That's before the big Marvel boom, anyway. You know, they were trying. They've tried to be dark, and then they've tried to be funny. But the problem is, like, you can tell there's a lot of studio interference. So they'll start off with a movie that's meant to be dark, but then like Guardians of the Galaxy comes out during their production cycle. The Marvel.
Now we got to be silly. Yeah.
Now we got to be silly and funny. And so they take their movie that's supposed to be dark, and they're like, all right, we need jokes. We need jokes. Lots of jokes. Lots of silly jokes. Like every 70 seconds, let's have a little ha ha moment. And you get a movie like Suicide Squad, where
that was awful,
poorly edited. It's two movies combined, and neither one of them would have been very good. But together, they're awful.
I'm sure you've seen the Snyder Cut is coming out for Justice League.
I have.
I have high hopes for. So, Zack Snyder was the original director behind the Justice League, and then there was all this studio interference. And they wanted to change it from his vision to something else, and what came out was disappointing. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else, but I'll call it an average movie. And you expected it to be way above average. So then, like, there were hints of like what it was supposed to be, what it was originally. Everyone was super kind of jazzed about Zack Snyder's vision, and they had this online campaign, petitions, and the tension. So now it's happening. And is it 4 hours long? Do I have that right? I think it's 4 hours long.
That would surprise me, but okay. That's crazy.
Too long.
I'm going to fact check me real quick. How long
I don't understand this. Oh, it's too long. What are you going to do instead? Well, I really got to squeeze in the trilogy again this
week. What is 214 minutes?
King of the Hill is not going to rewatch itself.
Someone convert 214 minutes.
That's 3 hours and 34 minutes.
Okay. So I wasn't far off, but a little high. Anyway, dude, I'm down. I'll go see it. Not go see it. It's going to be like
HBO.
I don't miss the theater experience.
It's HBO Max.
Well, I'll find a way to see it. And
do you guys miss the actual theater at all?
Yeah, I do. Like, I was going to watch Tenet, but my plans kind of fell apart. I still may go see Tenet this weekend if plans don't fall apart again. But I'm going to the theater because I don't think it'll be that crowded. I think the theater's got like space seating, and I'll bring a mask, but as long as nobody's like right up on me, like as long as I feel like I've got like 10 feet, I probably won't wear it.
Yeah, well, that's reasonable. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of space there. Most of the new theaters already have a ton of space, like not the shitty seats, or maybe the theaters around
they
here
have
are different.
good space. Like you're not touching your neighbor anymore, but not 6 feet.
Yeah, I'm talking like I don't want anyone sitting near me. Like the seats themselves aren't giving you 6 feet. It's not like your neighbor is 6 feet away. But you know, I'm counting on going to like maybe a late showing, and there won't be very many people in there. I've been to plenty of movies where it was just like me and my date and maybe like 4 other people total in a whole theater. I'd like a scenario like that.
That should be easy to pull off in COVID
Joker's
times.
the only movie I've seen in theaters in like the last 2 years.
Really?
If not,
I don't miss theaters too much. My home theater's pretty good with the projector and the surround sound.
I like the whole experience, though. You know, I like going there, sitting in the chair. I like the previews. I like the popcorn. I like the whole thing.
Like the $7 diet.
I got I'm like a Crown Club member, so like it's almost a normal price.
Oil, sir. In a 32-ounce cup.
I can't remember which theater chain it is. It might be AMC, like an AMC Crown Club or something like that. Right. It's this like card I've got that like I don't remember. I think I pay like a monthly fee. I know I've canceled it now, but I think I pay like a monthly fee and I get movies for much cheaper and snacks for like 60% normal price, which is still overpriced, but you're not paying $12 for popcorn. You're paying like $5 for popcorn or something like that.
Did you? I was multi-task. What was the price per year that you pay?
Oh, I think it's like month to month, like maybe, and I want to say it was like $20 or something like that. I really don't remember anymore. But I was going to a lot of movies when I had the card. It was like, this is our third movie this month. Like we're losing money if we don't get one of these cards, and we really were because I'd go to 5-6 movies a month. Whatever was out, I'd want to go see it, especially if it was in IMAX or if it was like a 70 millimeter thing. I really want to see Tenet in 70 millimeter if I can pull that off.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but I've read this before. It looks good. When I go see movies, I like waiting until like 5 weeks after it released because I like being like the only person in there. Like if I'm going with my girlfriend, it's just she and I. Or
in Atlanta, there's
people.
In Atlanta, there's a lot of showings at like 1 a.m. Like that'll be like the last showing of the night, like a 1 a.m. showing, and you can usually count on being almost alone if you go there. So sometimes what we do is like go watch like a 10 p.m. movie, and then just turn around and go right into a 1 a.m. movie like right after that.
Don't even pass the cash register.
Sometimes I've done that before too. It's like, let's just steal a movie.
I did that as a teenager. I've done that.
Just steal a movie.
Yeah.
My goodness.
You get out of the theater, you just walk into another theater.
I mean, what we'd usually do is like we'd watch our 10 p.m. movie and like we get out at midnight, go to the food court or go like get some food real quick and then come right back for the 1 a.m. movie.
Go rob the Sarku Japan and the Panda Express and then right back.
I with all my strength, I'd lift that chain gate. She'd slither into Sharper Image, get a few things.
No, I said all of the Dyson fans, not most of them. You know how much those Airblades sell on the deep dark web? Oh man, that guy's such a dick. Those commercials.
The Dyson fan guy?
Yeah. No, the Dyson vacuum, the Dyson fan. He
makes it sound like he's revolutionized human society.
Have you ever cooled off after getting hot? Not correctly, idiot, because you've never used an Airblade 6400. Now available, for whatever the fuck. Those are like $400 fans.
Like so expensive. I've looked at them multiple times because first of all they look cool.
They do look cool. Give the guy
I remember seeing one in like a Best Buy once and being like, wow, this is pretty cool technology. I like this. There's nothing moved for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what we're talking about. It's a stand like this podium type thing, and on top there's just a circle. There's just a circle, and it creates an airflow, with magic. I don't remember how it works. I honestly don't remember exactly how it works.
It's just a fan in the base that blows, that like pressurizes the circle and blows out.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too. I was like,
I have one.
No, it is. It's because I've seen it in Sharper Image or in Brookstone, one of those bullshit now out of business.
If that's what it is, I'm so upset.
That's totally what it is.
I got it.
I remember it because I saw it in a store and I was like, I always wondered, how the hell does this work? And you go up to it and like what he said, there's just a bunch of little holes around the side of the circle. And it's like, oh, it's just a second fan. It's just a shitty fan that makes less noise, I guess.
No, wait, why do you think that?
I thought that was the selling point. Is the selling point just the tech?
You're adorable.
Man, this guy really is a douche.
Oh, god damn it. It's got like a turbine inside.
Yeah.
I thought this thing was creating some sort of a low pressure zone on one side and a high pressure zone on the other. I legitimately thought that.
The pressure's on.
I thought this was like some Star
in
Trek.
the same room. You might get a hurricane.
Dude, I thought that like they were creating like low pressure here and then high pressure here and just creating airflow. I had no idea they just put a fucking fan at the bottom. I can make that. Give me an air compressor in 30 minutes.
No, they have not discovered a new way to move air. They just have an airfoil shaped ramp. You know, a fan. And it blows air.
Oh, well, fuck
I have
that.
one. It's nice-ish. It's a little loud. Like silence is something I really value in fans.
I don't need a fan.
It also has a heater. The one that I have heats air too.
God, look at how smarmy this bitch is. Talking about his fan.
His vacuum cleaners are ridiculous as well.
A fan. Nothing much wrong there.
There's no way that it's that advanced. I mean, how much better is it than the vacuum cleaner my mother had when I was 5 that frightened the dogs?
Here, sync up real quick on this 30-second commercial.
Okay.
Look at how difficult and how far of a stretch he goes right off the start talking about traditional fans and their many hazards.
Are you ready?
I am.
Ready, set, play.
A fan. Nothing much wrong there. Well, actually, there is. Leaving aside blades, safety grills, and limited settings, the design's hardly changed since 1890. Spinning blades chop the air, causing annoying buffeting. Turn it off, and you realize how unsettling it's been. Our solution uses airfoil technology. With no blades, it can release a steady stream of smooth air.
Don't say no blades. There's a turbine in the bottom.
You can hear it in the commercial.
It's just a fan. It's
His vacuum ones. Let me find him talking about. Yeah. Look at this is the one I remember from.
I thought there was some sort of electromagnetic field around that thing or something. So this was. I was like, this is the future. Someday we'll be propelled by these.
I think this is a terrible quality one of him talking about the revolutionary new vacuum. And if you guys want to sync,
I need a moment.
Sure.
You guys ready?
Yep.
Set, play.
Well, I was vacuuming at home one weekend.
Yeah, this guy vacuums.
What I thought was a pretty good machine. And I was really amazed by the lousy suction. So I took the machine apart and discovered the problem. A small amount of dust, and the bags and filters were hopelessly clogged.
It's an enormous amount of
So I
dust.
thought I'd try and design something better. And a few thousand prototypes later,
few
I had
thousand?
it. No bags,
What a
no
retard.
plugged up
We're taking
filters,
40
and
years?
the first vacuum that doesn't lose suction.
The first vacuum that doesn't lose suction. I
First
understand
vacuum that doesn't lose suction.
Get out of here. I've never had a
Get
vacuum
outta
cleaner lose suction.
Dude, he was vacuuming up just a field of dust before that to get that amount of
It's got
dirt
an
in there.
outdoor vacuum cleaner. Dyson.
Yeah,
If
when
you have yellow
Five flags,
labs, you
it's
get a lot
snow.
of hair and fur and stuff. We used to have yellow labs. Well, I've switched over. We used to have not a Dyson, but vacuums influenced by it. You know, with the carton, you just dump and put it back.
Yeah.
We switched to ones with bags now, and I think I like it better. Every time you replace the bag, it's like a brand new vacuum cleaner again.
I guarantee this guy's got like portraiture of other people where it's like Shakespeare, Mozart,
Himself.
Jobs, Dyson guy. It's like, I'm a bit like Elon Musk, really. Just rockets to never lose suction. It's like, it's not helpful.
This guy.
Yeah,
The only
this
thing
guy.
worse than that thing is that Roomba piece of shit. Like, in the idea that your house is just going to clean itself now.
Oh, mine works pretty good.
Really?
I got one for Christmas. Yeah, I think my grandma bought me one, and it's not a Roomba. It's like called a Shark. It's like some off-brand one. And
Okay.
if you're expecting it to do anything but get the littlest bits off of your carpet, then it's not going to clean up any messes. But
Have
if you
you
want
ever
it to, like,
seen
pick up little bits of
Mine
hair or
works
whatever,
pretty well, provided that it was clean before it got there. We
If
have
it's-
two of them.
Yeah,
And
if
that-
you're 80% of the way clean, this will get you A+.
If you're running this vacuum in a room that doesn't need vacuuming, you'll be pleased.
If your goal of vacuuming is to see lines like, okay, like, this has been vacuumed.
Have you ever seen that picture on Reddit where they had a Roomba and they were away from home and the dog had shit in the floor and the Roomba has just smeared dog shit over the entire floor
Imagine.
of the kitchen.
Oh, what a pain in the ass that would be.
Literally the entire floor is just smeared with a very thin film of dog shit.
that's now dried.
We have
So
two
cute.
Roombas, and we have something comparable for the swimming pool, and it's always the same thing. It's like, I turned you on because of the 6 kibble the sloppy dog left on the kitchen floor. Have you cleaned everywhere but them? Like, is that your thing? Like, did you go to the kibble? It's there's
You have to walk
work
over there
better,
and
I think.
re-aim it. Did you ever do that? Where you're like, son of a bitch, didn't have to change
Over
it.
here.
yeah.
Just clean it. You know what?
Yeah,
I'll
the
sweep
pool-
it up.
Those pool cleaners work better, I think. Plus they can go all night, you know, and you don't care. You're not really using any energy.
I agree with that. The pool ones have the same thing. If you're trying to run it for 15 minutes before company comes over, you're going to be a little disappointed. But if you kick it off for 4 hours while you're playing video games and come back, you'll be like, hey, you did get the 6 spiders that were on the ground. And that's what it does. It also
Spider
does,
an hour.
my pool thing has a stingray tip that flaps around. And it's kind of nice because if there's any like dust or pollen or something that's settled, it kicks it up and then the regular filter gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So-
When are we gonna have real fucking robot slaves?
Oh, we're gonna be so fucking old by the time that happens.
Who needs that? I'm married.
Oh.
Yeah, we're two. I bet we're 2 generations too early. I bet that the children of the Zoomers.
Or 3 too late.
Oh my God, I didn't get that until the
No,
end.
you
I
did
thought you were
not.
talking about women, which I was on board with for some reason. All right, he's talking about nuclear families. I get it. That's funny.
Yeah.
I think there's a movie coming out called Antebellum, and
That movie
I only saw like 30 seconds of like a preview or a teaser or something like that. But what I took from it was someone's kidnapping black people and taking them somewhere where they have like an old style Southern plantation and making them pick cotton.
I thought that they made that movie. Get
Well-
Out or not Get Out, the other one.
Oh, but they were just like house boys. You know,
The wheels turn.
I don't know what
Yeah.
we're talking about. What, I mean, they made that movie?
well, there was a movie called Get Out where these
saw
people were
that.
brainwashing the black people into. Well,
I thought there was
Ante-
one after that was like this. Maybe I'm
Wait, they
I'm on
weren't
top.
brainwashing them, right? They were like taking old white people and giving them their bodies, right? In Get Out?
I didn't know it was a movie about like witchcraft and voodoo and stuff.
No, it was hypnotism. And Get Out.
Am I mixing
know-
movies then?
Yeah, I think so.
So in Get Out, they just hypnotized a bunch of black people.
And turn them into their like slaves to like do
Oh.
house chores and be maids and stuff.
Okay.
But there's that part where like the boyfriend tries to like he finally sees another black guy and he tries to give him like a black people handshake, you know, like one of these where we're going to do a bunch of stuff, and the guy no he actually came in for the fist bump. That's what it was, and the brainwashed black guy grabs the fist in his hand, like he comes in for the handshake, and
No, I'm right.
he fully commits to grabbing the fist, and it's just like
Chris awakens strapped to a chair in the basement. In a video presentation, Rose's grandfather, Roman, explains that the family transplants their brains into other bodies, granting them their preferred physical characteristics in a twisted form of immortality. Yeah, they take the old white people and stick them in the black people, but they're not
Wait,
able to fully remove the black people, so they're a little conflicted in there.
This was just the skeleton key. This movie from like 20 years ago, where except they used wizardry in that one, and it wasn't like racial.
was Matthew
It was
McConaughey in that?
I think he was, yeah, because it was like
and
the old woman, and then eventually they steal young people's bodies and do like the voodoo exchange. And then the end of the
Yeah.
movie is the young lady walking out, looking all smug because the old lady's brain's in there, and her looking
Yeah.
back, at the old lady freaking out because the young lady's
I didn't-
brain.
I didn't see the very end of Get Out because I watched it in prison, and you know,
No, they don't let you finish movies.
well, you know, so maybe something else came on, so somebody got up, so the channel got changed.
So you
Maybe
didn't-
when you're back out in the world, you can finish movies.
you
You know,
didn't
just-
rule the roost like Blade did, secretly running that place.
No, I watched whatever was on, especially after we watched the news. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to touch that fucking TV again.
I am also passionate about the news. What do you expect to learn today in the news?
They just like looking at the weather girls, I think, and knowing what was going on in fucking Montgomery, Alabama.
I mean, it's something to do.
Did you guys hear that Joe Rogan wanted? How did it come about? Joe Rogan in the debates for the presidential candidates?
Yes. Yeah, I saw that.
And well, someone tweeted at Trump and they told him that, what you should do is like a 4-hour, podcast debate on JRE with Biden. And, does anyone else think that would be a good idea? And Trump replied, I do.
Yeah, Trump said he'd do it. It's not going to happen, obviously, because Biden's handlers won't let it.
I hate that narrative. That's bullshit. Carry on. There's this whole idea that Biden is in a chair. No, not in a chair.
If this was a UFC fight and one guy was like, I'll do it.
Biden's in a gurney with blankets up to his nipples while they feed him sweets, and he's not actually running a presidential campaign or about.
He's not running it well. He's like taking advantage of every opportunity to not be out in the limelight.
It depends on whether you consider that running it well or not. I do agree with what you're saying, but what's happened during that period is he's gotten a really large electoral lead, and he's raised tremendous amounts of money over Zoom meetings and spending absolutely nothing. And he's taken Trump's formerly insurmountable money lead and made it his own. So if that's running it poor, I do get this. Here's what I agree with, and I think you will too. I agree with this idea that it's not inspirational. Right? Like, if I want Biden to go out there and make me want to vote for him, that would be the dream candidate. Someone who says, this is how I would solve this problem, and this is how I would solve that problem. And I say, you know what? Good flippant idea. I didn't come up with that. You're not getting that, right? Instead, he's like, fuck, if this is a 5-game series and I'm up 2-0, let's not add more games. Let's not add more debates. Let's not add more opportunities for people to take shots at me. Let's just... if I'm up 2-0 in a 5-game series, I don't want to make it a 7 or a 9-game series. And Trump, on the other hand, is like, let's do weekly debates. I'm getting my fucking ass kicked. I would like to add as many opportunities to shake this up as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just think that Joe Biden is not the one sitting in meetings constructing strategies and tactics in his campaign. Like, he is just he comes off as a plug and play guy who is not with it at all. He clearly struggles to speak coherently for long periods of time. Like even when he's interviewed, like there are multiple instances where he gets ushered off really quick, and the stuff ends. He gets very friendly, beneficial.
I actually watch his interviews. Right, I watch the 24-minute long video, the 44-minute long video. But what happens is they take the worst 12 seconds, put together a compilation, and if you're on Twitter, you think that's what he actually does. Go ahead and watch the DNC speech. Go ahead and watch his last debate with Bernie. It was hours long, and he did well. There's no handler there, like, getting him there. He's actually doing this. But if you're on the right, you're bombarded. If you're in a news bubble, you're bombarded with just little clips of him talking about his leg hair again and
again. A lot
of
these clips are 5 minutes long of him just not making sense, not being his speech pattern is erratic.
That's not even true. Like I could get you, let's pick his most recent speech and you watch it from beginning to end and you'll be like, yeah, that's not my impression of him.
I saw that
they're going to try and get out of the debates. I think that Nancy Pelosi's
is a
already
narrative on the right that
Nancy
is
Pelosi's
not remotely true. Nancy Pelosi said one thing 3 weeks ago and hasn't said a thing since, and that's priming the pump to get out of the debates. I hate that she said it. I think we're on the same team there. They should have debates. Mm-hmm. Shit, if they go poorly enough, I could change my mind, right? Maybe Joe Rogan's right about the whole flashlight with dim batteries analogy. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. We watched him debate, 20 times or so against a cast of 20 Democratic challengers. And while he didn't really inspire in any of them, he didn't collapse like people make it out to be.
That's a lot easier, though, because there's also a lot more time to dilute when you're standing up there with 20 other people.
How many 1v1 debates did he have with Biden? I'm sorry, I meant to say Bernie. And that's an example. You spend enough time on the mic and someone will do that and be like, what, he doesn't even know his own name. But he had a 1v1 debate with Bernie, and he may have had 2 or 3 of them, right? And by the end, there were only 3 or 4 candidates on the stage. I get that if you're in a cast of 20, then you only really have to thrive for 6 minutes. But when it's 1v1 against Bernie, that narrative falls apart.
I saw that the montage of him molesting children got removed from Twitter for child exploitation.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
I'm just, I'd like to see the debates.
Whenever I see that,
there are going to be some funny clips, but I would not be surprised if they move to try and get him not on a debate stage. because he.
I'll bet you $100 they have the 3 scheduled debates. And this whole right-wing narrative of him getting out of it is
that's a good bet to take because all right, does he get the money if COVID is the excuse?
No, there aren't any crowds. No. They've already handled COVID. No, maybe I didn't say it right. I would give him the money if they use COVID as the excuse, but they've already handled COVID. That's the reason why all the debates have one moderator. They're literally socially distancing the moderators and just having one of them. They're not going to be canceled because of COVID. Might be a good bet. They're not going to be canceled at all. $100. Another bet. And I found another $100 better on whether Biden will win or not on my Facebook feed. So I'm going to come out ahead of this in spite of my early losses.
I got another betting opportunity for you. Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley this weekend. Who do you take in that? Because I'm Colby Covington all the way on that.
I am too. Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Tyrone hasn't done anything. Tyrone's like fallen off a cliff with his performance. Now the narrative is that he and Street Jesus, help me with his name, Jorge Masvidal, that he's changed his mindset and he's got it back and he's going to be a tiger again. But I'm with Tyson on this one. You know, all your plans fall apart as soon as you get punched in the face. And this,
I think Tyron to me has always been a pussy afraid of losing what he had, who fought real boring fights. Like some fighters, like. If I wanted to make a montage of their greatest moments, I could take 3 of their fights and I could put together like a solid 120, 150 seconds of them just crushing, even in their losses. Like I could take Tony Ferguson's last fight in which he lost, and I could show you 30 or 40 seconds of him just looking sharp, you know? But you'd have such a hard time. The other day they're like Tyron Woodley with his hammer of a right hand, he's showing them who's business. It was like a 10-second long clip. It was like, oh yeah, he hit a guy one time. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, with the right.
I remember that. That was 3 years ago when he hit that one guy. He's a professional fighter, you know. And then not too long ago, I showed you that clip of him losing that reality show competition.
Yes,
like it. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like a American Ninja Warrior type scenario, and he lost to like a 5'9" white dude.
I think the guy was like a teacher or something. Like,
yeah,
the white dude,
and it was physical stuff too. Yeah, that guy was fit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like regardless of that guy being a teacher, Tyron always looks like the fittest guy in the room. But he didn't. Fitness has never been what held him back. He has no heart. I think that he's always the first to like make excuses and be like, "Oh, the UFC doesn't want to push me because I'm black." Meanwhile, he's sitting there with like John Jones, DC, Israel Adesanya. And all these other black superstars who are getting pushed, getting Reebok deals, like you get paid what you're worth in mixed martial arts, or all right, maybe not always what you're worth. But you get paid more the better you do. You
get paid based on your popularity, and you get paid.
And you're never not going to get pushed because of your race. In that they love having multiracial, like cast of characters over there. Like diversity is what they want ideally. But if 10 white guys happen to be the 10 best fighters in the world, they're going to be the champions.
The problem with Woodley is he really just wants to get famous for his win-loss record. And that's only half of the puzzle. For a guy fighter, I'd argue it's win-loss and charisma. And for a girl fighter, I'd argue it's win-loss and a variation of charisma, like how hot you are.
Is Woodley like, you know how maybe you haven't heard this before, Woody, where it's like they'll talk about people who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame in hockey or basketball, and they'll be like, well, he belongs in the Hall of Very, Very Good.
I like that for Woodley.
He's not up there with people who belong in the Hall. So that's the way they...
It's just like with mixed martial arts, with the UFC, like the things that make me love fighters are people who just dig deep and give everything they've got and come out to put on a show.
He's a Philly fan. Down deep.
You know, I mean, that's Joe Lozon's style, right? Like Joe Lozon was never like, oh, I really want to win tonight, whatever it takes. He was like, I'm going to put on a fucking show tonight. I'm going to put on a fucking show. I'm going to win a bonus. Yeah. I might lose the fight, but I'll win a goddamn bonus because I'm going to do some crazy shit. I'm going to give it everything I've got to put that man on his back, put him to sleep, or break his fucking arm if I've got to. And Tyron Woodley has never had that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Taylor, he's like, I'm going to do the bare minimum to get fucking 27 points or whatever you need to win. 28.
Did that bet happen or not happen, Taylor? Either way's
fine.
$100, 3 debates happen or don't happen.
Sure, I'll take it. All three have to happen.
Yes, all three have to happen. If any doesn't, no excuse.
If there's ever a teleconference debate, does that count?
Yeah, that's a.
Oh, they're gonna do teleconference?
No, I'm just throwing in like possibilities that would like. Maybe one of you be like, well, it wasn't a real debate. They did it via like video conference. That doesn't count. I'm just trying to like lay the basis to make sure everybody agrees.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I think that counts.
that's a tough one.
They have
because
scheduled debate nights. If they hit those dates and it happens to happen over Zoom, I feel like it's still a debate. But I don't think it will. I don't think they're going to get canceled. I don't think it's just going to straight up happen.
See, that wouldn't do it for me because I could see what you could have was like a smart guy sitting over here with an earpiece
other side of the camera,
and he's got like a what do you call it? Thing you read teleprompter, and he's just because like I saw them call Biden
whiteboard.
Yeah, they called Biden out today for he held up something in one of his like meetings, and he's reading off a teleprompter in like what's supposed to be like an off the cuff thing.
Yeah.
So it would have to be in a way that you could tell it wasn't like a normal debate, I guess.
How about this? If it's a tele-debate, but they still do 3, we'll just call it a push and nobody pays.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
Look at that. What a civil way to... No, fuck you. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if Biden wins. I think he's definitely in the... Yeah, it's coming up November
3rd, right?
It's 7 weeks away, and the first debate is it the 24th? I've got that date in my head.
They really crunch those in at the end, don't they?
I don't know what normal is anymore.
I felt like that Trump and Hillary were doing it way more spread out.
The 29th is the first debate.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been 4 years. It's been 5 years almost.
Yeah, Jesus. Time flies. Yeah, let's see. The first one was September 26th in 2016. Second, October 9th. Third, October 19th.
That's about the same.
Oh, it's about the same. Yeah. You said, what's the first scheduled debate for this one?
29th.
Yeah, so pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
Might be out of hundo.
Well, it's okay. I've been out one before.
Or I might make a hundo. Yes. That's the rub. That's the bet. Yeah. Those would be the biggest bet in the history of PKA, right?
A tie. Now I've lost 100 to Kyle already.
What was that one?
I had the field and he had Bernie and Biden as the Democratic nominees.
I forgot that was $100 one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It'll be interesting to watch this all play out. If Biden agrees to do Joe Rogan, it's an automatic win for you. I have to pay out, even if no debate happens.
Yeah, that would be. I like long form.
God, I'd love to see that. That'd be the biggest Joe Rogan ever, obviously.
I would love to see it too. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Would you finish?
Yeah.
It'd be huge. It'd be so fun, especially if he did it live. What if he did it live? Oh, that'd be so sick.
The numbers.
And of course, like Rogan can't do him by himself. He's got to have some help. Eddie Bravo's there. Eddie Bravo's right there next to him.
Throwing Alex Jones.
He's got his stoned eye. And he brings up flat Earth. and Biden's trying to dismiss flat Earth. And Trump's like, wait a damn minute. Wait. We don't allow you to cover up any more secrets from the American people. All right, let's talk. Let's get down brass tacks on this flat Earth thing. Tell me more, Eddie.
Eddie Bravo really legit would bring up crazy conspiracies. It would be neat if they did Joe Rogan show. It's a pipe dream,
that would be cool.
But I would love that. Because he's had other candidates on. I can't think of any Tulsi. Republicans, but he's had Tulsi. He's had Bernie. Did he have Buttigieg or am I making? He had Yang, and I'm not sure.
I think those are the only three.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when they have. I don't know if it's 4 hours, but when they have at least 2 hours to really expand on their points and all the time they need to reply, what CNN or Fox, no commercials, they're like, hey, I have a question for you. This is a 9-minute segment, so please don't take more than 60 seconds to answer this question. And, Yang, he still would never became my guy, but to hear him expand on that whole like $1,000 a month thing was like, this does seem thought through. It didn't win me over, but He can't. It just sounds like a kooky idea when CNN's interviewing him for 6 minutes, but you give him 2 hours, and it's like, oh, he's thought this through, and
it'd be way better. Like even the whole debate structure as of now is like a total farce. It's not a debate. It's just like, all right, I'm going to frame a question and then just say whatever you want for the next 3 minutes. And it's like, okay, so we're not going to address each other. It's just going to,
it's
I wish it was like a real debate, and they were just like diverting 1 point, taking a point, like he just he just stepped like in the UFC when somebody like finally loses a point, the ref steps out in the middle, and he's like looks at the judges like 1 point off.
They hold up a yellow card for stalling.
Find, like one totally apolitical umpire who's all about the rules. Just one guy. Yeah. I don't care who wins. I just want a good, fair match, and that's what we're going to get here today.
Vladimir
what do you
Putin.
think about this, sir? I tell you once, I don't know who either of these gentlemen are. Yeah,
get Bruce
just
Buffer at the start
score.
Of it.
It's time. Yeah, as Biden's going up there, let's get ready to stumble.
That was a good one. I like it.
Trump's flirting with the ring girl.
But bias. Trump
Bloody,
struggles with ramps.
Yeah,
I was wiping my hand on her ass. You know what?
Yeah, I would love to see him in a long form on nearly no time limit.
Yeah,
like format.
Way better.
It would be better. And some of the debates are debates. like they do they're like, all right, you have 60 seconds, then you have 30 seconds to reply to what he said. If he invokes your name during his reply, then you get 30 seconds to reply to that one. That's not bad. The thing that we all dislike the most, I suspect, is when they're like, hey, Taylor, here's a question. 60 seconds, say anything you want. And then they go, those are
also
just
when
co-speeches.
The one you're talking about, I get it's better, but it'll also be something where it'll be like, oh, well, I, Pete Buttigieg, think that it's unrealistic for the $1,000 a year financially that candidate Yang is proposed or whatever. And then it'll be like, Yang, you can answer. And it'll be like, I disagree with that. And here at the Yang campaign, we're about unity. We're about keeping people together. We're not about breaking people apart. We want to rebuild America. And it's like, now your people are just chaining into nonsense that have nothing to do. They should have someone there with like a riding crop that just walks behind all of them and just if you start rambling, just whack.
I prefer electric shock.
I think baseball pitchers need that.
Or shock.
Right? You go too slow, riding crop them.
No,
they should also be forced to throw faster. We'll come for the politicians.
Braves are
first.
having a good year, by the way. Braves are having a good year. We're leading the National League East. There's a pitcher whose name I can't remember, Acuna Jr. maybe, I don't know. I'm just making that up. Who's having a great year. They scored a National League record 29 runs in a game the other day. Fucking 29 runs.
Second place or tied for second place in the entire National League. That's really good.
NL East is all that matters, for playoffs.
Yeah. I thought the Cardinals were last. No,
let me to put you on this. How does it work? Like, it's not the whole East. It's just, it's not the whole NL.
Yeah, the divisions will, they'll determine who represents each division by who's leading at the end. So they're in the playoffs if they win their division. So as long as they beat the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Marlins, then they're in.
Phillies.
Hypothetically,
Phillies.
If I was second in my division and also second record in the National League, how do I do?
You still make it,
sense?
Right?
I think that they do a shit. I don't remember anymore because I haven't watched playoff baseball in so long. But there is something where there's like a playoff. Oh, no, that's if they're tied. That's if they have tied records. They have a 1-game playoff. Yeah, I think you're fucked. You're fucked.
That stinks. Hockey's somewhere in between. Like, I could be ranked if I win what's the smallest one called? Division. If I win my division, but my record really sucks, I could be higher ranked than someone who got second in their division but has a better record.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry about your Vegas Knights getting knocked out last night.
Got knocked out last night to that other team.
Mm-hmm.
And were they? I was about to say Texas. I want to say they were in Texas.
I don't want Dallas to win, so they've got it locked up.
It could be a good year. It could be a good year in Georgia. You know, we'll see. The Falcons look like they're good to go. The Braves leading their division, and the UGA Bulldogs ranked 4th preseason. New offensive coordinator.
Thrashers are coming back.
No, they're not.
Third time's the charm.
No hockey for us. I think we got a pretty good soccer team.
Yeah, I know we got a soccer team. I don't know what their name is.
I don't either.
Some are just like name of the city and then football club. That seems to be the pattern. How they name
I don't know the name of our soccer club. I have no idea.
Yeah. And that'll remain a mystery to me.
It'll remain a mystery.
I know we don't have one.
Yeah. Well, someday, Woody, you'll join the true metropolises of this nation with Major League Soccer teams.
Every so often, like the News and Observer is the big Raleigh paper, and they'll have like pictures of what the stadium would look like and where it's gonna go, and I'm like, Raleigh hitting the big time, hockey and soccer, but it doesn't materialize.
Someday.
Yeah, I know we passed an hour, but we had a big guest on who owned a part of the Sacramento
Kings. Yeah, it was Andy,
and he was talking about the things
Andy
you want to
Miller.
own the most, and his hats and helmets thing. Do you guys remember that? Basically, he was like, "Hey, I could take this baseball player. He's absolutely killing it right now. Walk him down the mall, and he barely gets recognized. If a player wears hats or a helmet, people don't know who he is. But you take a basketball player, people really know them. And man, that feels true to me." And then he invested in gaming, and it's like, for the price, I wonder if he's right. I don't know if it's too early to invest in gaming, right? Like if I were to buy the Philadelphia Eagles of gaming right now, we don't know that the NFL is even the right league. You know, like it's a risk. But pro gamers could get pretty famous. You know, I want to buy stock in Shroud in 2017 somehow.
Yeah. That'd have been a good investment.
Yeah.
Or Ninja 2015.
Right?
Not too late to get in on Landmark.
I don't know if he's selling any shares.
Well,
We'll ask him.
Yeah. I donate to Landmark sometimes. If I think my joke is good enough, I want to tell it to everyone. For $3, I'll tell my dumbass joke.
Everyone's like, boo! You're like, all right. I'll leave.
Yeah. Sometimes I get everything I hope for. I'm like, the whole chat went wild for it. Other times, like, I donated a joke that I thought was pretty good, but there was another player in the game shooting every fucking window on labs. And everyone is like, what is he doing? And I was like, I barely noticed my $3 joke.
Oh, $3 down the tubes.
I know. But anyway, I guess we should roll it and wrap it up.
Yeah.
So PKN 317. I think I didn't spoil anything.
I think